close as we welcome in, up close and personal, our own Charles Barkley. Chuck, I want to start with LeBron because clearly he's been as good as he's been in his 14 years in the playoffs. How much do you think he's cutting that gap between wherever he was and the greatest of all time?
Well, I think he's gaining on Kobe Bryant. If they can win the championships this year, I'd probably move him past Kobe Bryant as the greatest in that conversation. You know, Kobe won 5 championships. If he can beat the Warriors one more time, that'll be 4 for him. And I'd put him even or maybe a step ahead of Kobe.
Chuck, the over-under tonight is supposedly 16. It's supposed to be a better game than the last one. But I'm interested in knowing.
Let's hope so.
I'm wondering, though, are you taking the over-under on pride? Where are you at on that?
I'm taking the Celtics tonight to keep it close because I think it's such a – listen, they play – you know what the Celtics mean to the NBA. These guys can't come out and get beat by 50 points again. They've got to come out and play with strictly pride. They're going to get swept, obviously. But you just, listen, you don't want to lose by 40, 50 points. I think they're probably going to be freed up, but they got nothing to lose. So I actually think, listen, they're not going to win the game, but I think they can lose by 10 tonight. That's just I'm hoping, because it hasn't been fun broadcasting these games when you're down 30, 40 at halftime. I just want to have people just like stay and watch.
Charles, by the way, if you look to your left, Ernie was behind you giving the best Bays gaze of the playoffs.
Chico.
See Ernie to your left? He was over your shoulder, staring you down.
I see Ernie in the background.
Okay, all right.
He looks taller. And, I tell people, Ernie is such a wonderful person, but he got a great sense of humor. He's just scared to show it.
Well, he is pretty witty. I'm going to ask you, Charles, back in '85, your first season, you were pushed all the way into the Eastern Finals. You guys earned that chance against the Boston Celtics, ended up losing that series. I might be getting ahead of myself just a little bit, but I'm wondering how important whatever's going on with Boston in this series is for the makeup of this team, even going further. This experience and what you learn from this kind of experience going up against what the Cavs represent right now in the East.
Well, I think this has been a wake-up call for the Celtics to let them know they're not even close to winning the championship. I think everybody knew them being the #1 seed was, listen, Brad Stevens, Dan Ainge have done a fantastic job, but I don't think anybody thought they were a championship contender. I mean, they played against a 2-man team last week and took them to 7 games because they had the home court. It reminds me of the Atlanta Hawks a couple of years ago when they had the #1 seed and the Cavs swept them. They're not close to winning the championship, but with that #1 pick, and some things they can do, I think they got a chance of getting better in a hurry. But this has probably been a wake-up call for Coach Stevens and Dan Ainge, like, you know what, we're not close to winning the championship.
Chuck, for Cleveland, obviously it's about one thing, winning a championship. They're not stupid. They know the Warriors are coming. How difficult is it for that team to prepare for the Warriors and that competition when they're playing a team now without Isaiah Thomas that, as is, wasn't nearly as good as the Warriors?
Casey, I think what's going to be interesting is, #1, the Warriors going to have the home court, and the Cavaliers haven't been tested at all. So, listen, Rick can say it, Bones knows the difference. When you step up in class like that, it's probably going to be a shock to their system. But like I say, they haven't been tested. They're going to have to go to Golden State, which is going to take it to a whole nother level. Listen, I still think the Cavs got a really good chance. They got LeBron and those guys. I think the key to me is going to come down to Tristan Thompson and Kevin Love, what they're able to do down low against Draymond and whatever big guy plays for the Warriors. That's what it's going to come down to, in my opinion. I think LeBron and KD going to cancel each other out. I think Steph and Kyrie, that's going to be an offensive juggernaut. But the guys who dominate down low, that's, to me, going to be the difference in that series. Because Kevin and Tristan, they can dominate down low and on the boards. I forget his name. JaVale McGee is playing fantastic right now. Jaja's out. But whoever plays the best between those 4 guys is going to win that series.